You don't know anything. You can see they're already like obliterated at the bar, and they were rinsing this person. He was booed out of the building. Genuinely the definition of judging a book by its cover. I already know I'm going to be ruffling a few feathers in this conversation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this sound. Oh, beautiful. But it's not a can of beer. It's not a can of any alcoholic substance. I'll get onto that in a little minute. But so it's a can of Rockstar energy drink because we're gonna start this episode by pouring ourselves a little glass of this because we're gonna do it fancy, right? We're gonna do it classy in a nice little glass that I've got right here for the podcast. But I'm pouring this because it's what time is it now? 10:30 at night. It's the first Wednesday night that I've probably been in Hull since my second year that I haven't been out in the campus nightclub because I'm not a student anymore. I'm in a 9 to 5 internship now, which I'm loving. It's going sick. But yeah, so I can't be affording to go out till 4 in the morning every single Wednesday. Or if we're talking about what I did in my second year and my third year, I'd miss my first year, to be honest. Not just every Wednesday, it was most nights of the week, if not all of them. But I've all my energy drinks I've ever had. Yeah, we're just gonna go straight into some random stuff. All the energy drinks I ever really go for are all Monsters. I went from Red Bull to Monster. This is the first Rockstar that I've ever actually had, so I've not had any yet. Smells alright. Doesn't really smell as nice as the other ones that I've had. Smells more like a Red Bull. This Rockstar original, I guess this is the original, no sugar. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so I got this for free in the accommodation that I'm staying in at the moment. They're not going to get a shout out because the Wi-Fi is playing up. If you fix your Wi-Fi and you'll get a free plug, but that's all it is. So the Rockstar Energy Drink taste test. That's all right, you know. It's gonna keep me awake. It's gonna keep me awake for a little bit longer. I don't know if I look tired at all. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, like I was saying, the internship has started. It's going well. But I was here for Freshers Week this year, which is very strange because, like I say, I'm no longer a student. I'm not even. I'm like obviously I'm a graduate, but I'm now working. But I'm working on campus for the uni, so it's very strange. I'm still like in with all the freshers' activities, like the sports fairs and the societies fairs. I was working on those days on campus, so I was going around getting content for that because I'm doing marketing internship, and yeah, so it was weird still seeing everyone there, and everyone was saying that, oh, Dane, what are you still doing here, and things like that. But it was nice to see everyone, nice to go around, but it was very strange. There's different interpretations that I've had of each Freshers Week. So first year Freshers Week, well, to be honest, I was ill, but aside from being ill, because I was ill for all three of them, to be honest, aside from being ill, my first year Freshers Week, it was very innocent, right? You don't know anything. You can go into uni, you can go into freshers thinking that you know it, but listen, you actually don't. You will learn so much in the 3 or 4 or however many years you're at uni. It's unbelievable how much you'll learn. So Freshers Week, I just look back and I'm like, you're so naive, Dane. You're very, very naive. Second year Freshers Week, you're coming back after a bit of time in COVID, after the first lockdown, I believe it was. And so that one, like I was saying in another podcast, I was like, you're playing catch up, but you know a little bit more, but you're still getting to grips with you've had your first year. You're no longer a fresher. You're not the most naive out of the bunch anymore, but you're also not. You don't know what's going on yet. Third year, you think you know what's going on, and you're confident enough now. You go to the clubs that you've been going to for years now. You're drinking the alcohol that you know that you can handle now. You're playing the social games. You're going to the socials with your mates that you've known for a while. It's all well and good. You definitely don't know everything as a third year. Things are still going to hit you in the face, slap you straight in the face as a third year. But listen, it happens. It's a learning curve. That's what life is. But as a graduate, it's weird. It's weird because I'm in a bit of a unique position of not many graduates go back for the Freshers Week. I don't think so anyway. Like if they're not a student anymore, like me, I'm in the 9 to 5 now for the internship, and so yeah, if you're in that outside of you moved away to, well, for in my case Hull, but whatever city the uni's in, you move to that city, you move away from it after you graduate. You're not likely to come back for a full week at least. So for me, seeing everyone there as a graduate, there was It was very strange. There were some people coming up saying that like they'd seen the podcast and they'd seen mainly my uni videos that I'd done before, like the campus tours, the room tours, this, that, and the other, which was really cool. But there's some people that you can see that you just know it's like you're a fresher, mate. And it's just blatantly obvious, and it's not the bright lanyards that they're wearing. It's the what they're doing. It's like oh yeah, I'll have 10 shots, but you can see they're already like obliterated at the bar. And I know that could be anyone. It's just a vibe that you can get, and yeah, you know what I mean. Nothing wrong with it. I was definitely in that position at one point in time, but it's just how you're now going into it. I've now gone into it where it's like I've done uni. I finished with uni now. That's that. But then I'm seeing people that are just starting that journey, that are just starting to gain all this knowledge and life experience that sounds weird, but that you're going to get by going on nights out and going to the pub and getting involved in all sort of uni stuff like that. But it's very weird. Yeah, watch people make mistakes in Freshers Week. I did have an interview lined up for Freshers Week with, I don't want to call him a celebrity, someone who's got a lot of followers on TikTok, and that never came off. But I tell you, that's a story for another time. What I'm going to do with that one is I want to save that one for a little series that I'm going to be introducing to the podcast, and it's going to be called, I'll let you know about it now. It's going to be called Beer in a Mug. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to get a mug and I'm going to put some beer in it, and I'm going to start to get a little bit drunk throughout the podcast. So the more and more, like the longer we go into the podcast, the more tipsy drunk I'll be, and maybe the more stories that are going to come out. But to get the full story of that, I cannot be sober for it. It's not a horrendous thing, but it really annoyed me. It really did annoy me. Right. Something that I did see on another podcast though, I was watching as I was making my tea tonight. Was it was on Logan Paul's podcast, all right? And first off, we'll touch on that topic actually. Uh, about cancel culture, about Logan Paul and all stuff like that. Listen, this isn't a podcast about whether you should like Logan Paul or not, right? I enjoy watching the podcast. When all this stuff happened back in the day, yeah, everyone was like, "Yeah, that's bad. It's very, very bad." And there's no denying that. But there's some people that are still giving him hate for it now, which it's a case of, I spoke to a few people where it's like, "Oh, I hate Logan Paul. See that thing he did back in like 2002. Well, I know it wasn't 2000. It was like 20. It was I genuinely don't even know when it was, but the thing that happened in Japan. And I'm like, oh yeah, but have you seen the stuff he's doing now? No. Oh, I hate him though. What? So you hate like the past version of him? Oh yeah, that guy's horrible. People don't change. People change. People change, man. People change. And I don't, it's not a specific thing of like standing up for Logan Paul. It's more just a case of like, well, listen, don't judge a book by its cover or one story that you've seen, or anything like that. I'm probably very much not putting the I don't think I'm putting the point across very, very well in this. I no, I'm not at all actually, but it's just a simple thing of another random example. She-Hulk, right? The Marvel series that's coming out at the moment as I'm recording this anyway. One of my friends was like, "Oh, Dane, you're into Marvel. It's fell off now, hasn't it?" I was like, before I said anything, I was like, "Oh, why'd you say that?" I always get the opinion first. I was like, "Why'd you say that?" And he goes, "Oh, She-Hulk is rubbish. CGI's all over the place. Story's horrible. This and that." And I'm like, "Oh, what episode are you up to?" "Oh, I've not seen it yet." How? What? How can you judge something without seeing it? Do you know what I mean? It's genuinely the definition of judging a book by its cover. I was like, well, what have you seen? Oh, watch that first teaser trailer. Yeah, the CGI was naff on that, and I'm not saying the CGI is good in the series. Don't get me wrong, but it is the simple case of people just judging things nowadays and just immediately dismissing it and being like, oh yeah, this and that. It's so negative. And what do you know about it? Nothing, to be honest with you. Absolutely nothing. And I've gone on a little bit of a circle around that. But my original point was, so let's get back to it. I was watching Logan Paul's podcast, ended up talking about CGI and She-Hulk. So I was watching the podcast, and one of them mentions about someone they know wanting to switch from Apple to Android, All right, and I already know I'm going to be ruffling a few feathers in this conversation because I think iPhone users have a very toxic culture. Okay, a lot of them, not all of them, but I've got an Android phone myself. Immediately, everyone's going to click off the podcast. But yeah, so I've got an Android phone, and I've pulled that out in the club before and been like, oh yeah, let's get a picture. With like some of my mates, and also like some people that I know, if you know what I mean. And they're like, oh, you've got an Android. Oh, why have you got to just get an iPhone, mate? Well, this phone that I've got like works better for me. Oh no, I'm not hearing it. They're immediately dismissive about everything, and it's just simply just, well, it's the phone I want. It's the phone I've got. You have the phone that you want. Have the phone that you've got. It's up to you what you have. It's up to me what I have. It's just a simple thing of like, why is there such like a stigma around it? And I get the point of iOS works a lot faster. There's a lot of features on iPhones that has in the past absolutely trumped Samsung, and I've been on the Samsung side while it's been trumped, and I've admitted it. I was like, yeah, well, I'm on Samsung. It's just a system that I know this and that. But yeah, Apple's crushing it. But now I'll be honest with you, there's a case to be fought. I'm loud and proud, like out of the ones that I was looking at. And I was looking when I got my new phone for my birthday this year. I was looking at switching to Apple. I did look at the latest Apple phones coming out, not the very newest one that was announced the other day or that came out the other day with the like little popping thing at the top for the notifications. That's really cool. Like that is really cool. But I was looking at the one before that. I don't know what number it was, and I was debating it. I was thinking that it's a lot of money, and that is fundamentally what it comes down to. The price for iPhones is so much. Samsung is just as good, if not better quality, in my opinion, for a lot cheaper price. So, but what my point is, it comes down to personal preference, and they were rinsing this person for wanting to switch to an Android, and they were obviously they were joking, they're having a laugh and everything, but they were saying like, oh yeah, the possessed, like the demon. It's a simple case of they're gonna get the phone that they want to get. Why has it always been such a thing about the phone represents the person? It's a very strange concept. I'm not going to get all philosophical on it right now, but it is very very strange in my opinion. In my opinion, there was all that, and there was also something that I saw which links. To be honest, it kind of links to Logan Paul. It definitely links to Logan Paul. Actually, while we're on the topic, he's in the WWE now, which is mad. Because back in early this year, he had a bit of a thing, WrestleMania. Had a bit of a feud with The Miz, resulting over summer. I think he won. I think he's won both of his matches in the WWE. I think so. But I remember watching some of the ones from over summer against The Miz, and his performance was sick, and he did really really well. And it was a simple case of, it's Logan Paul. He came out, everyone was booing him. He was booed out of the building. And then throughout the match, everyone in the arena or the stadium, wherever they were, everyone in there in attendance kind of flipped, and they were like, "Oh, he's actually doing really good. He's actually doing sick in this." So they ended up cheering for him at the end. And then when I'm pretty sure he won. But when he won, let's say he won. When he won, everyone was ecstatic. They was like, "Yeah, big up, big up." So that was really cool. But I have now just seen that he's challenged Roman Reigns to a match for both the titles. So Roman's got two big titles on him at the moment, and so it's going to be Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. And there's a lot of people saying that Logan Paul's going to win, and I'm really, really, really not that much into wrestling anymore. I'll keep up to it if it comes up on my Instagram or YouTube, something like that. The occasional view, and but this stuff constantly pops up, and it is a case of he's just not gonna win. He's just not gonna win. He will put up a solid performance, and it's going to be an overall win for him moving up in his career if he wants to go down this wrestling route, to go against Roman Reigns at the main event spot now. But he's not taking away the titles. He's just not. They're not gonna put him. They're not going to put the belts on him. I will be mad surprised if they do. And we can all come back to this video and just say, yeah, I was so wrong. I would put genuine hard-earned money on that he will not win this match. Might do a little update afterwards to see if he actually does or not. But speaking of fighting, he had his fight with Mayweather. They just had the KSI boxing matches. Say matches because he did 2 in one night. They were really good. They had the whole Deji win in there as well. They had Joe Weller there kicking up a fuss. Don't know what all that was about. Well, actually, what was he trying to say there? He's going to fight KSI in a car park. It's dodgy. It is very dodgy because I used to be like a big fan of Joe Weller, like in school and everything. And to see him now, he's come back and he's on going to someone else's boxing match. He might have been doing commentary or some work with whatever he's doing now on there, some interviews. But he's going through, and what was he like, squaring up to KSI's editor or something like that? And just it gets to a point where it's like it has very much become very apparent that he's just a bit jealous that he might still be a bit bitter. Bitter might be the right word. Bitter that he lost that fight back in the day, and because he did kind of go off the rails a little bit after that, I think, or he like took a massive break and he's been struggling to like land on his feet again since. But to do this, he was either drunk or like something had hit a nerve beforehand. I don't know if something did happen beforehand. But yeah, he just came out of nowhere, and it was. I thought they were all sound now, but yeah, I honestly can't stand drama. I genuinely can't stand drama. That TikToker that I said I was supposed to be interviewing, which I'll go into again on Beer in the Mug when that comes out. But I had to catch up on all the TikTok drama to be able to interview him, which might give you a little bit of a clue on who it is. And caught up on all of it. I caught up on all of it, and the interview didn't happen. The interview just did not happen. It's just disappointing. But what else is happening in the boxing now at the moment? Isn't Logan Paul facing Andrew Tate? Now that's a name to say on the internet nowadays, isn't it? Andrew Tate. Yeah, I swear, he's full of it with boxing. To be honest with you, Andrew Tate is full of it with a lot of things. But yeah, he was. I think if I've got the story right, I think he called out Logan Paul or one or the other, and he said, Andrew Tate said he'd fight Logan Paul for free. And now he basically said anytime, any place, and I'll do it for free. I don't care. So I was thinking, oh, you know what? Fair enough to him. He's going to step back into the ring because I think he is retired now, and he's going to face someone who's just gone toe to toe with Floyd Mayweather, and did pretty well at it as well. But now I've seen that it's a case of, well, he wants 2 warm-up fights before he goes against Logan Paul. Immediately, he's eating his own words there. And then he also now wants to be paid for the fight. So saying, oh yeah, I'll do it any time, any place. Well, you won't, because you now want some warm-up fights, so it has to get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Because it takes a long time for boxers to go through 2 fights. Unless you're KSI, you just bang them out in the same night. But all the lead up to it, all the press conferences, everything. It takes a long time to start to finish do 1 fight, let alone 2, and then to still have this feud going long enough. I think Andrew Tate's going to be irrelevant by then. He's just going to be like a memory by that point. But yeah, to then also be like, yeah, well, now I want to get paid as well. It's a bit of a, do you know what I mean? It's you've kind of stood up for yourself, probably thinking the case of, right, well, I'm gonna say all this stuff, and they're not gonna do anything about it. Like, it's that they're not gonna do anything about it. Then now they have. It's like, oh wow, okay, well, now I need time to prepare, and I'm not gonna do this for free, even though I said I would. I'm not gonna do it for free, so I want some money now. I genuinely think it's just one of them things, which is a little bit dodgy, but it is what it is. He's a dodgy guy by trade, you know. Do you know what I picked up the other day to close off this episode of DaneMellowsTalks? I picked up my Nintendo DS, right? Now I got my Nintendo Switch right there in front of me. My DS, I think, is like there. Yeah, bro, I was banging out some hours on Bomberman the other day. That's all I've been wanting to do to take it back to full circle. Like I said, I started the internship now. I've been getting back to the accommodation tired, 'cause it's early mornings and I'm working all day and I'm looking at a screen all day. So then I have to come back. I have to edit the podcast, which I'm enjoying doing. Just this episode actually will come out after not only my interview with Tim, but also my interview with Alana Kohanchi, the actress who's been in Ted, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, WandaVision, Chicago PD, all stuff like that. She kissed the Rock. It's mad, but it's stuff like that. I wanna get a lot more interviews on. But then I'm also just gonna throw in some little ones like this where I could just talk about some random stuff, have a little drink. That I think that's more gonna be what the beer in the mug ones are. But the reason I'm not doing the beer in the mug on this one, maybe should have clarified that because it would have made sense rather than having Monster out of a drinking glass or Rockstar out of a drinking glass. Yeah, the reason I'm not done it is because I only really want to do the beer in the mug before I'm going out to either the pub or on a night out. Otherwise, for me, just for me, it doesn't make sense for me to have a drink. That's just the type. That's just the mentality I've got at the moment. I'm not the type to just have a sit down beer to myself. Maybe I will when I'm older. But listen, right now is I'm not the type of bloke for that. I'd much rather sit here in a Spider-Man sweatshirt, and just have a rock star, sit on my own talking. But yeah, but to round off on it, yeah, I was basically I'm getting back tired, and I picked up my Nintendo DS from home, and I've just been bashing out Bomberman. It is a sick game. Let me know if you had played Bomber Not Bomb. The tiredness is coming back into it now. But let me know if you have played Bomberman before on the Nintendo DS or whatever else it's on. I don't really know. But while you're doing that, make sure you rate the podcast 5 stars on Spotify. Okay, I want to see the 5 star rating soon, and it needs a certain number of ratings. I don't know how many, but just keep rating it 5 stars, because that would really help me out, and it really help the podcast to grow. So that's the main thing. But yeah, thank you very much for listening to this episode of DaneMellowsTalks. It's been a nice little fun, very quick, random topic episode, but that's what I enjoy. And like I said in the first episode, I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about because it's the only way I'm going to enjoy it. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.